Yes, Aleks?
Let me tell you about Dreamland.
I've swapped complete failure as a Kickstarter.
Star Fox Command is the first game that you get to be Anthony Birch.
The first of many fuck yous. Like a fucking Looney Tunes? Suck.
The only stipulation was behave yourself and keep your dick in your pants, and you have not followed through on that.
Hey, Tad.
Yes, Aleks.
Let me tell you about Kirby.
Now, when you talk about Kirby, you talk about that little pink fucker, right? This little jolly fella.
Yeah, I'm talking about that little adorable pink puffball that's been showing up in games for over 25 years now. So,
now, Aleks, hold on. Before we get started, Kirby's only had one, like, cartoon, right? Did he ever get a movie? Because I was actually thinking about this at work today in preparation for the Kirby episode.
Kinda, sorta. It had one of those, like, 1 hour TV special, not movies, but kind of is a movie thing, you know?
Mm-hmm. Because Sonic had, like, 2 movies, I think.
Yeah, I had that one shitty VHS tape that I fucking owned that had, like, the worst fucking voice acting ever, dude.
Strange, isn't it?
But, yeah, it had that it wasn't Star Warriors, those evil Star Warrior episodes where they all had the air riders because it was made to hype up Kirby Air Ride.
I remember that. Okay, I do remember that now. Kirby Air Ride, God, that game sucked. Big mood. Big mood. Game sucked.
Ooh, he's saying something controversial there. Uh-oh, everybody, look out. So anyway, Kirby. He was originally created by Masahiro Can't Stop Suckin' Sakurai.
And this time it fits, because that's what Kirby does. He just kind of sucks him up.
Yep, and you all know him for, you know, being the Smash Brothers guy that everyone gets angry at. So, Kirby was originally created all the way back in 1992, in his first game, Kirby's Dreamland. The character design behind him was intended to serve as a placeholder graphics for the game's original protagonist, but they ended up just liking Kirby a lot, so they kept him.
Interesting.
Also, fun fact, Kirby was actually not his original name either. They were going to call him Popo Popo. That sounds really fucking dumb. What they actually kept with was Kirby. Miyamoto said himself that Kirby was chosen in honor of the American lawyer John Kirby, who defended Nintendo in the Universal City Studios Inc. versus Nintendo Co. case of 1984.
Now, what was that case about?
If I recall correctly, that was the case about Donkey Kong, as if it was a ripoff of King Kong or not.
Oh, see, that's kind of cool. See, those are some big questions. Because when I was little, I always thought Kirby's design was a little weird compared to every other Nintendo character. Because every other Nintendo character had, like... Kirby's just 3 circles, you know?
Pretty much. Kirby is as simple of a design as you can get, really.
Now, that first game, was that on NES or was it on Game Boy?
The very first Kirby game was, back in 1992, for the original Game Boy. The old fat green and black one. And another little fun fact about his design. So the reason he's white is not just because of the limited color palette back then. It's actually because there was kind of a little argument going on of what color should he be. Sakurai wanted Kirby to be pink, but Miyamoto wanted him to be yellow. So...
Ew, why yellow?
Because Miyamoto isn't always a genius. So... he is just shown to be white to kind of be like, until we get this settled, we'll go with this for now. It's why, like, in the early commercials you can watch, he's white as well. And fun fact, that's why his Player 2 color in Smash Brothers is yellow. That's what Kirby would have originally looked like if Miyamoto was in charge.
Shit!
We're glad he's not in charge.
Now, when did they make the change from white to pink?
It was the second game. They finished that argument right, like, immediately, and they went with pink right in the Nintendo release. So, another thing that you probably noticed with Kirby's designs is, in a lot of the North American box arts for Kirby, he's really fucking pissed.
Yeah, and he's, if I remember right, they used the white Kirby for a bit, right? From what I remember, because I've played the original. I think my very first video game I ever played was Legend of Zelda on what I called regular Nintendo, because that was like I was born in '94, so the Super Nintendo was already on its way out, so I just called it the regular Nintendo. I played it at one of my mom's friends' houses. They also had like a pet squirrel, by the way. It was really fucking greasy because I don't think they gave it baths because I'm not really sure how you like bathe a squirrel.
I'm sure if you tried it would just like claw at you.
Pretty much, like I think they just took it from outside and just kept it. But I played Kirby at their house, and they had them on NES, and then I think they also had the Super Nintendo one, but I thought it looked dumb, so I never played it.
How dare you?
So tell me, so the first Kirby game, he didn't even have his fucking copy ability, right?
No, I was about to get into that. So, in the original first Kirby game, he did not have anything fancy going on. All he could do was jump, float a little bit, and he would eat stuff up and send it right back at you. And that was it. That's why, like, the cappies, the little mushroom guys, when you suck them up, you just suck up their hat, and you just spit the hat right back at them. That's the whole shtick. You didn't have powers.
But he had infinite jumps, right?
Yeah, he could still just float around and shit. Yeah, he still had that, so platforming was still, a cinch. So
it was also only like 5 stages.
Well, because it was a Game Boy Classic thing. I can't even imagine how little memory that thing had. I'm sure I saved more images that were saved images that had bigger file sizes than a lot of the games back then. All right.
I mean, hey, it fit Pokemon near the end of its life cycle.
So. The original Kirby game, very simple. King Dedede stealing all the fruit in Dreamland, all the food in Dreamland, not just fruit. And Kirby's gotta go teach him a fucking lesson. So, you go through the game, you eat shit, spit out at him, beat him, simple enough, you're done. Now, what's interesting is that after this game, though, Kirby kind of gotten, like, a lot bigger in scope each game. First game is very easy. Bad guy does bad thing, kick his ass. But then, the sequel, everything kind of got settled out. So Kirby's Adventure, I think it was called. You get that, and this game is for the Nintendo. So you have bigger file size, bigger goals, bigger story, bigger bad guys. So this story, instead of just being like King Dedede's fucking around, King Dedede's fucking around and stole the Star Rod and shattered it in a bunch of pieces. Kirby's gotta go teach him a fucking lesson. So, Kirby goes by, beats up all of his minions, gets the Star Rod, reforms it, but as soon as he does that, Nightmare pops up, and now Kirby's gotta go teach this big guy a fucking lesson. So Kirby teaches him a lesson, and it's revealed that King Dedede actually shattered the Star Rod because Nightmare was trying to fuck with people. King Dedede was trying to save the day. King Dedede did literally nothing wrong.
Now, in Kirby 2, how many powers were there? I'm assuming, because I think the classic ones are Fire, Ice, Sword, Boomerang, or is it Razor?
It's Cutter.
Cutter. And then, like...
Beam.
Really? Beam was one of the originals?
Yeah. He didn't have a wand or anything. He just shot it out of his hand.
Interesting. So, I mean, there's the 5 powers right there, and then it pretty much just kind of balloon... Oh, and Bomb, yeah. I knew that Bomb was early.
Yeah, because Bomb had Bobby Bros, and Bobby Bros is like a classic guy. So, So this is the game that kind of started everything. You had your powers now, which became just a staple. It's Kirby's whole shtick now, right? That he can copy things. It's where King Dedede was proven that he's literally never wrong ever. It's where, I don't remember in the first game if Meta Knight broke his mask at that point, but I know Meta Knight was in here and he broke his mask and it was revealed that he was like Kirby. It's where also this one thing that happens is, there's always a bigger, badder boss at the end of the game to fight. So, like, you'll always go through the game and fight, whoever you think is the main villain, and then after you beat him, the actual real main bad guy will show up in a bigger, more grander battle. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That became a big thing with Kirby at this point in time. So,
it's like a JRPG.
Yeah! So, after this, Kirby went over to Kirby's Dreamland 2 for the Game Boy, where now you had the animal buddies. You still had powers and everything, but now you had, Rick, Kine, and Koo to help you go on your little adventures. Then you had Superstar, which is objectively my favorite one, because it's the one that I played first.
So the Kirby's Dreamland 2, so that was on Game Boy, or was it on NES?
No, this was on Game Boy again, going back to the handheld Kirby.
Okay, so this was the one that I think, or no, I think it was Dreamland 3 was the one that was, it was like on Super Nintendo, it was pastel, right?
That's Dreamland 3, and I was just about to get into that one as well, too.
Okay, that's the one that I like never played because I thought it looked stupid when I was little.
Yeah, see, that's the one that kind of gets, what?
I was gonna say, but yeah, let's ignore that shitty game and talk about the big wha-bam Kirby Superstar Saga. Fuck yeah.
It's not Saga for the last fucking time. It's just Kirby Superstar. You keep saying Saga because of the stupid Mario and Luigi game. I'm about to slap you.
This fucking game. I got this. I had a few Super Nintendo games that I played a lot. Because that was back when I appreciated the games that I had. So I would play a game and then just be like, you know what? I'm going to play Super Mario World again. And I'd just play it. I wouldn't be like, oh, I've got literally in my house, if you count my Steam library and everything around here, I have over 1,000 video games where there's nothing to play. Ugh.
I've got nothing to do.
Kirby. I would just play like, oh, you know what? I'm going to play some fucking Kirby Superstar Saga. And just fucking pop that sucker in, start a brand new file, and go through Kirby 1, Kirby shit. What were all the games in there?
You had Spring Breeze. You had, which was sort of kind of a remake of the very first game on Game Boy. You had Dynablade, Gourmet Race, which has my favorite Kirby song in it, The Great Cave Offensive, Revenge of Meta Knight, two little shitty mini games like Megaton Punch and Samurai Kirby, and then the big final game, Milky Way Wishes. And there's also the arena.
Yeah, this was like, because this is kind of a thing that you see in later Kirby games as well. They'll have a lot of kind of smaller packages of games in there. And Superstar, see, I said it right that time. Kirby Superstar had one of the best gimmicks you could have in any video game ever, right? And that's the
helpers
co-op buddy.
Yeah,
fucking co-op buddy.
Yeah, helpers. So throughout this game had a kind of a focus on co-op, but not really because you can get through the whole game on your own. But whenever you would take a power, you could hit a button, and you would spawn a helper, who would be like a little recolored version of the enemy that you got the power from. Some enemies couldn't be helpers, but it was like majority of the enemies could be. Now, a lot of the mini-bosses couldn't. Like the weird sumo wrestler guy, you couldn't get him. But anyway, and if you had a second player, if you actually had friends, if you just hit up any button on the second controller when the helper respawned, you'd then take control of them, and the two of you can just blitz through the fucking game together. Now, Kirby's pretty easy. Kirby's always been pretty easy. Superstar isn't really all that hard either. But it's really fun. And especially when you have a friend, the two of you are just blitzing through, changing powers. Like, when you can play as motherfucking Bugsy, you just grab him, you clothesline him with your big fucking mandible, because he's a big beetle that throws him around and wrestles with him. It's fun. It's enjoyable.
Superstar is the only game where you want to be the second player, because then you can play as, okay, Alex, Alex, what is the best partner? What is the best one, and why is it Jim? Okay,
I was gonna either accept Jim or Bugsy, because they're objectively the best ones.
Also, alternative second place, Bonkers.
Bonkers is the god. So
the best normal Kirby ability in Superstar was also Hammer, because you could spin and throw the hammer.
Fucking Kirby, and also that did like the most goddamn damage. It's fucking bullshit strong.
Yeah, Superstar is a fucking long game.
Yeah, because you have so many like little games to get through, and the Milky Way Wishes itself, which is like, you know, decent in length for what it is at the end.
Yeah, and then you got the Great Cave Offensive, which takes like 3 days to play through if you haven't done it before, you know?
If you don't already know where all the treasure is. See, I wanted to get into Great Cave Offensive, because out of the games, everyone kind of hypes up Revenge of Meta Knight and Milky Way Wishes, and they're really good. But I actually really like Great Cave Offensive the most. Not just because it has really, really good music, but I like that adventure-y feeling of you going around through this cave system, because I don't want to say it's like a Metroidvania, but it's got a little bit of elements where you can kind of go back in between each area to go look for older treasures you haven't gotten yet. Kind of, sort of. Like, you're never going to be locked out of an area because you don't really have a thing, like a Metroidvania, but you can go to previous areas to go get treasures you missed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And it's got wacky treasure, like you could find the Triforce and shit. And it also has that boss where they're like digital enemies, and it's like an RPG. I always thought that was a cool boss.
The computer virus. I love that guy. I wish he would come back.
But yeah,
fun fact,
Superstar is a fucking swag game. I think you and me both played through it like twice, I think.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah. So not even counting how many times I played through it with my brothers.
Yeah, dude. So what I want to talk about is, after this game, you might be surprised that there was actually a second game for a second Super Nintendo Kirby game, Kirby's Dreamland 3. Now, I didn't actually play this one until many, many years later on an emulator. I won't lie. I used that. So, this game is actually the first game in what people call the Dark Matter trilogy. Now, let me explain what that is, Tad. So,
I mean, I would assume the Dark Matter trilogy would start with the second game, which had the Dark Matter character.
Kinda, sorta. You're actually right. I almost forgot he was the last boss of that game. See, that's why you have a two-man podcast.
Boom. Carrying your fucking slack, Aleks.
Meanwhile, I get blown the fuck out. No, you're right. Sorry. That's where Dark Matter Swordsman's in. Yeah, after Dreamland 2, with Rick Cunningham, you kick Dark Matter's ass. Then this game is the second game of the fucking trilogy, where you have Gooey now as your co-op partner. So
Gooey.
Gooey. So in the previous game, you had the helpers, right? Where you get to be the different enemies and shit. This game, now instead of doing that, you have Gooey, and Gooey has a copy ability like Kirby, but he's not Kirby, he's Gooey. So
now, how does his copy ability work?
He just eats them and gets their copy powers. But
he doesn't change visually at all?
He kinda does, but not really. Like, when he has the umbrella, he'll hold the umbrella with his tongue. You know, like stuff like that. Really simple shit. He's not gonna get a cool hat like Kirby does. But what was nice about this game is that it had a really kind of unique art style, where it kind of looked like it was almost drawn with crayon or something. Had those weird pastel colors, I think is what you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, it's like a weird kind of... Everything looks kind of like an Easter decoration.
Yeah, pretty much. It looks really nice. I think it's adorable. So this game's actually really, 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 really simple. You don't have a lot of cool, crazy movement options like you do in Superstar, which is a whole thing I'm going to get to in a second. But you do this game, beat it, and you fight Dark Matter again. But then you fight the one guy that everyone mentions all the fucking time in shitty clickbait Kirby lore videos, Zero. So let me talk about Zero really quick, Tad. You've seen Zero, right?
I played Kirby 64.
Yeah, well, that's Zero 2. He's the weirder one I was going to get into.
Well, hold on a second. It's 02?
It's Zero, but he's back, too.
Oh, okay.
Zero 2.
His name was 02.
Yeah, so Zero is this big white orb with a bloody red eyeball, and he shoots you with hyper-realistic blood as his attack. Then you beat him with the love rod, wink, and you then beat up his bloody eyeball and then kill him, and then you and Gooey save the day. So, 64, I want to just cover that real quick. Yes, 02 looks weird. It's not that weird. Everyone who says they were creeped out by 02 as a kid is a fucking loser. Like, I beat 02 and I'm just like, that guy's weird. And then I shot him. Because it was like a Star Fox 64 kind of boss fight. Where it was like a little on-rail shooter segment. He's like, he's not that scary. He's just weird. Because he's a big white orb with angel wings, a little halo, a band-aid, and a cactus tail. He just looks like a clusterfuck.
Yeah, he's like a fucking chimera.
He's like an amalgamation.
I don't know, that kind of mix-up of random things might play into how that was the only game for a good long while that had the gimmick of mixing powers. I wonder if that kind of played into it.
I would assume so, because the boss fight before him, Miracle Matter, which is the weird little kind of hexagon, desicon, whatever the fuck, little thing full of eyeballs that throws random little abilities at you and copy abilities. Mm-hmm. I would assume it has something to do with that. But anyway, he's not that scary. He's just weird. Anyway, so what I want to talk about right now is Kirby's been been out for a little while at this point in time, right? Because Kirby 64 came out in 2000. So it's already been about 8 years. So what about Kirby that despite having very simple, easy gameplay and shit, where all the enemies can much die in one hit no matter what power you have, what's the point? What makes it so fun? Options. So, let me explain this to you, Tad.
Well, let me tell you about Kirby.
Let me tell you about options.
He said it! He said the thing!
Oh, dude! Fucking... Yo, chat, clip that? Alright, so... Originally, Kirby was just started off, like I just mentioned earlier, eats, spits out, done. Then they added powers. Then they added more story. Then they added this. So when you have these powers, I could just get through the game without ever even eating food, without ever even eating a power. Every single boss ever in all the games is designed around it. Even if you don't have a power, you can still fight them. They'll like leave stars on the ground for you to eat and spit right back out at them. And you can do more damage by eating multiple stars at once if they leave like 2 or 3. They're always designed around that. So if you wanted to challenge yourself, make the game harder for yourself, not some bullshit difficulty option, you just do it on your own accord, you can do that. You can be powerless Kirby and beat through the whole fucking game. You want to do it only using the jet power? Go ahead, you can. Only using the sword? Go ahead, you can. You can fight these enemies in a variety of ways. Even if they only die in 1 or 2 hits, it's because the game gives you like 30 different ways to kill them, makes it really, really fun. Or I could do it alone, or I can do it co-op. You have options. That's what keeps people coming back. That's why me and you were able to play that game so many times.
Yeah, because like I'd get to an area where I'd be like, okay, time for me to play as Bugsy or the Knuckle Joe, and I would just like dive kick my way through levels. Or I'd go into the bird and just fly really fast, or jetpack around, or fucking use the parasol that just kind of slowly drop down as you get mad at me for not keeping up. Or fucking use the Plasma Buddy, who was busted as fuck because you could just activate no clip.
Yeah, because he just flies around. And I'm surprised he doesn't come back at all. Anyway. So after
I think he was in Robobot.
No, he wasn't. There was the ESP guy who kind of flew around.
Oh yeah, there was a Plasma Power, but it might not have been Spark. That was his name, by the way.
Yeah, I think so. It's hard again. It's very hard to remember all of the buddies' names off the top of my head.
What is fake fan?
Dude, it's like there's like 26 characters. It's really hard to remember every single name.
Anyway, yeah. So
I missed Samir.
So yeah, Kirby 64 was cool. I like.
Yes, Kirby 64 was good. It had a very great gimmick, but it hasn't really aged well. Visually, it looks pretty good, and also visually, what I should mention is it's kind of coming right off of Dreamland 3, where it has the kind of like pastel-y colors. Especially, like, it has the exact same, like, health bar and everything, if you've noticed, if you ever played both of the games. And a lot of the same characters from Dreamland 3 come back in 64, like Adeline and, like, Zero and shit.
See, that always made me a little bit confused when I was little. I'm like, okay, who's this painter person? Are there humans in Kirby World? What the fuck? Okay, I guess, whatever.
Yeah, she's from the other
Also,
game.
the levels in Kirby 64 where you got to, like, ride on King Dedede's back were cool as fuck.
Oh, yeah, I love 64. And the only thing I would say about 64 is that age-wise, it's not all that great, because visually it looks good, but it's very, 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 very slow. Like, holy shit. I was replaying that game for this episode. You move so goddamn slow. Like, I'm so used to Superstar, because you're fast as fuck in that. And even the newer games, like all the Return to Dreamland games, you're so fucking fast compared to 64. I don't know if it's the fact that Kirby himself is just slow, or the levels are just really, really long, but, like, you don't feel like you're making any progress when you're running. So, after 64, Kirby kind of, like, didn't really have a mainline game for a while. It was just a bunch of spin-off games. You had Air Ride, which apparently you hated.
Yeah, okay. Real shit, Air Ride sucks, okay? No one likes playing Kirby Air Ride. It wasn't that fun. Now, City Trial was fun for a bit. It had a fun gimmick of where you leave your GameCube out when you go to school so you can unlock one of the racer things. I actually played, I think it was last year. Someone made a online version of Kirby's Air Ride where you could do the City Trial mode online. You could fuck around with that and do a bunch of crazy shit. And even then I'm like, this kind of sucks. When I was little and I played Kirby Air Ride, I was just like, man, I wish I could just get off. I mean, you could get off of the thing, but then you're just flying around for like an hour and a half, not doing anything. There was anything to do. I don't know. Kirby Air Ride fucking sucked. It wasn't fun. I would rather have been playing something else.
I know what you just said there with I wish I could get off and run around. I had a very, very similar kind of opinion when I was a little kid playing fighting games. I hated dashing as a kid. I always wished I could just run. But anyway, back to Kirby. So, Kirby had just spin-off games. After that, you had games like, say, Kirby Canvas Curse, a spin-off game I actually kind of liked. Do you remember
Alex,
Kirby Canvas Curse at all?
this was the one with the DS stylus, right? Where you drew the line and then
yes, when Kirby was just a little orb. And he just rolled
you
around.
missed one other thing. You missed the only bad Kirby game, Kirby and the Amazing Mirror.
Look, I didn't want to talk about it. So
okay, another big Tad, another big meme here. That game fucking sucked.
I also wanted to make sure, in order for the sake of time, didn't cover every single Kirby game that came out.
I just want to mention this one because I have a specific opinion about it. Like, I won't mention Squeak Squad because no one gives a fuck about Squeak Squad.
I honestly never played that one or Mass Attack. I won't lie. Those are the two I never played.
Literally no one's played those games.
So, but please,
I played Kirby and the Amazing Mirror. What it is it's like a shitty Metroidvania where you have to have a very specific Kirby power to get past an area. So what you do is you have to in the Candy Constellation, or Candy Constipation as I called it, because I thought it was so fucking funny, dude. When I was little, I used to call E.T. the extraterrestrial, E.T. the extra testicle.
Oh man,
And now I'm a podcaster. But you would just go through an entire area, get to somewhere, and be like, oh, all right, I need the rock or the hammer ability. Let me go grab one of those. Oh shit, I got hit on the way there. Because the reason is what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to have friends and also have a Game Boy Advance link cable.
And they should also have the game too.
Yeah, I don't think they needed the game. They might not have. That one, I don't remember. I don't know if they had that technology yet or whatever bullshit. But so you need 3 things, and you're only going to have 1, maybe 2 of those. Like, you're not going to have 3 link cables unless you're living in a goddamn white suburb. Like, get the fuck out of here, Masahiro Sakurai. But yeah, that game sucked. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. Fuck Kirby. Fuck video games.
Rude. So what I want to talk about Canvas Curse is the game itself is pretty okay. I liked it anyway. I thought the final boss was cool and everything I thought it was cute. But what's really important about this is where another player in the Kirby thing comes into play. Remember I mentioned Miyamoto and Sakurai arguing with how to handle Kirby and stuff. Now there's a new player, Shinya Kumazaki. I probably butchered that, but cut me some slack. I don't speak this language. So this guy worked on Canvas Curse as a designer, but he moved his way up to a director for the next couple of games. Example, He directed the Kirby Superstar remake, Kirby Superstar Ultra on the DS, which is a pretty solid remake, I might add.
Mm-hmm.
So, after a while, Kirby was just kind of, not really doing much. But then, the real shit happens. Return to Dreamland for the Nintendo Wii. This was the big deal, the big wig Kirby game to come out. Because it was a new mainline Kirby game. Not that spin-off Kirby Epic Yarn bullshit. No. This is Return to Dreamland. This was directed by Mr. Kumazaki. So do you remember Return to Dreamland at all, Tad?
I remember us both being really fucking excited at E3 because it's just Superstar Saga 2.
Kinda, sorta. Return to Dreamland was the one where, instead of having helpers, you had King Dedede, Bandana Waddle Dee, and Meta Knight as your extra playable characters.
Yeah. It was another co-op Kirby game. We're like, oh shit, son, here it goes. Here it do.
Oh boy, here it comes!
Aleks, literally only me and you are going to get where that's from those fucking Cartoon Network anti-bullying comics.
Don't worry about it. So, this game... So, we have fun here on this podcast. So, this game was important. This introduced Kirby back into the big main spotlight where he deserves to be. You had playable King Dedede and Meta Knight and Bandana Dee, but who really cares about him? I don't see the big deal of his popularity. Dedede's the cool one. You have all of these guys, and you have this new character who crash lands on this alien ship named Magolor. Now, Magolor's like, oh shit, I got attacked by some dragon and I lost all my power gizmos, my power MacGuffins. Can you guys help me out? And you're like, yeah, sure, alright. So you go and get all of his MacGuffins back. And spoilers for a game that came out, 2011. You go help him. Turns out he's actually an evil asshole, much like Marx in Milky Way Wishes, which, by the way, absolutely loved that guy. So you fight him, kick his ass, then you go to the arena, kick his soul's ass, and you kill him for good. So he comes back later, but don't worry about that. So what's important about Return to Dreamland is, once again, like I mentioned earlier, where things were getting bigger and bigger each game, they got bigger and bigger kind of again. Now you have Kirby's back. Kirby's got, three other main characters to play as alongside his journey. You got a bigger story because Magolor not only is just kind of doing a better version of the Marks plot, but he's also dropping lore hints at you left and right. And what's really, really, really important is the engine. The Return to Dreamland engine is going to be reused forever now, because even right now, the newest game that came out, Star Allies, is still reusing that engine. But I'll get to that in a second. So after
now, isn't that engine, though, I swear to God I saw this somewhere, isn't it like Unreal Engine? Isn't it based off of Unreal? I could have swore that Kirby Triple Deluxe had something to do with the Unreal Engine in it, like in the end credits, or like they borrowed some kind of techniques from it or some shit.
See, when I was looking it up for the engine, I never saw anything specifically say anything about Unreal 3. I just simply saw the Return to Dreamland engine. So I'm not sure about that one, unfortunately. But I was trying to look into it because I want to figure out why they reuse it so goddamn much. So after that, we got Triple Deluxe. Now, as I mentioned before, we already talked about Triple Deluxe on Noise Boys like a fucking, 2 years ago? Like forever ago. So I'll keep it brief. Like before, I stopped playing Kirby for a little while, get back into Triple Deluxe, absolutely loved it. Here we are now where I'm just obsessed about it over again because that's just the way I roll. It was a super good game. Loved it. Loved all the new characters. Fantastic. Then, a few years later, we had the sequel for Planet Robobot, which, again, I vaguely recall talking about in Noise Boys, so again, I'll make it brief. It was basically Triple Deluxe, but just better. Had a better gimmick that didn't take up as much time. The old gimmick of that one was the suit, the Hypernova, the Hyper Suck. Now you have the Robobot armor, which was like way more like fine-tuned. It wasn't like a boring thing that was mostly cinematic. It was just an actual expanded upon gameplay option. Felt great.
I'm actually still playing through Planet Robobot now, and like it's a really good gimmick. It's really cool. Triple Deluxe, you just like have the Mega Suck, which you just kind of use suck, and you just kind of like use that to push things around and eat like eels, and it just repeats that gimmick over and over and over again. Yeah. But the robot, like you hop into it, and so I had my older brother's wedding on this weekend, and I was babysitting my nephew while my mom was like getting ready, getting her hair done and stuff. And he was playing, like he wanted to play on my DS. I'm like, sure, here, go play Kirby. And because it was Robobot, like he was just able to get into the suit and then just kind of like walk around. And because he was in a giant robot suit, normal enemies didn't hit him. So he was just able to run around and like punch shit and do all that and just play Kirby because he's 4 years old. But I, as a video game connoisseur, really like the robot suit. Because one, oh cool, I get to run around and punch shit. That's really fun. 2, oh, I'm invincible. It makes you feel strong. 3, oh fuck, I could use powers. 4, I still keep discovering new powers as the game goes on. Like I'm in the last world and still finding new powers and shit. It's really cool. I like the robot gimmick.
Now, have you beaten Robobot yet?
No, but I don't give a shit about the story because it's fucking Kirby.
But Kirby has a pretty good story. Okay, so I'll sum up the story because, again, it's getting bigger and better every time. But now that with the Triple Deluxe and especially Robobot, they've been fan servicey as fuck, and I kind of like it. So with Robobot, you go through and spoilers, you beat up Susie and Haltman, who's totally her dad, and you do that, and it's revealed that Star Dream, this thing they've been using to kind of roboticize all these planets for their business, is actually a Nova from Milky Way Wishes. It's the same weird clock thing. So you kick his ass and you save the day. But
Wait, it's super. A Nova? Like they're a whole fucking group of things? I thought Nova was like one guy.
Well, gee, it looks like somebody does care.
Like hold it right there.
Yeah, so, well, Ted, why don't you play the game and find out? Because I didn't even explain all of it.
Uh-oh.
So, I highly suggest playing the game and finding the rest out for yourself. Wink. So,
I'll pull
anyway,
an Aleks and say, yeah, I'm really interested, and then just, like, never play it.
Hey, just because I say I'm interested does not give you consent to force me to play that co-op game. More in jokes. We have fun here. So, Tad, you might be asking yourself, why would I do a Kirby episode now? Right?
Yeah, Alex, why didn't you do it when Star Allies just came out? What are you, lazy or something?
Yeah, weird. So was I'm trying to cash in a game that just came out, like 4 weeks ago, because I'm really lazy with making episodes. So let me get right into Star Allies. So it's the new Kirby game. Of course, anyone who's been in our public Discord probably already realized when the game was coming out, I was real excited for it, especially when that Nintendo Direct hit and they revealed all the extra characters. I was so excited. You know those videos of all those soy boys freaking out over their Nintendo Switches? That was me when I saw Marks was going to be playable. So, let me get into Star Allies. Star Allies, again, bigger and better story every time. Kirby's sleeping, chilling out, evil cult out in outer space is trying to resurrect a dark god. They have this big evil black heart. They send out black hearts all over the place to try to hypnotize people. But Kirby is not affected by this. So Kirby wakes up, sees that King Dedede is stealing all the food in Dreamland again, just like the original game. Kirby's got to teach him a fucking lesson. So Kirby goes by with his newfound heart friend power, where he just throws little hearts at people and makes them his friend. And when he does this, it's just like Superstar again, where now you have the helper system. And I was so excited for that. Now when you have helpers, you can have 4, like Return to Dreamland, because, again, we're reusing that engine again. Mm-hmm. But this time, when you get your friends, they get little hats like Kirby does when he gets their power. It looks kind of cute.
Now, here's something. So, what was the distance between, like, each Kirby game using this engine? There was 2011 was Return to Dreamland, and then Triple Deluxe, and then, like a year or two later was Robobot, then, like, a year or two later is fucking Star Allies, right? Yeah, pretty much 2 years in between, because you had, it was Return to Dreamland 2011, then 2013, then, like, 2015, then, a little bit more, or was it 2016? I think it was just barely 2016 when Robot came out, and then now you have 2018 with this one. And not to mention all the little sub games, because you know we mentioned the Kirby mini games that are in every game. The sub games in Triple Deluxe and Robobot kind of had their own like expanded upon versions that you could download off the Nintendo 3DS store. Big shout outs to DDD's Drum Dash Deluxe and Team Clash, but I already covered Team Clash in an episode before. So I'm not going to repeat myself. Was that the one with the apples?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the one where Magalore is alive and he's taking all your money to buy apples for his evil plot that we still don't know what he's doing with those.
And if you spend $30, he won't let you spend any more money and you just unlock the full game, right?
Basically, yeah. You can only spend up to $30. I appreciate that they don't want to go more than the 3DS game is worth. They have a little self-respect with their free market, but whatever. So, Star Allies. This game gets a little bit of criticism because it's very, very easy. And I won't lie, it's pretty goddamn easy. The helper AI is like way, 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 way better than it ever was back in Superstar. Because this game's where the co-op was kind of like an added feature to Superstar. Co-op is part of the main game of Star Allies. Even the main cover of the game is Kirby and three different helpers behind him charging on down. So, like you'll have like say you go to this room where you're split up into two people up top, 2 people on the bottom, and you both have to solve puzzles on each side to progress forward. The AI is smart enough to actually know how to solve the puzzles. That's nice, so that way you're not kind of screwed if you're playing alone, but it has a downside of that. If you go to some puzzle rooms, the AI is actually too smart and can sometimes just solve the puzzle straight out for you. Huh. So, it's a double-edged sword. It's nice that they're actually useful now, but it sucks that they kind of defeat a lot of puzzle purposes.
Because I get why they're doing it, because if you don't have, 3 other people to play with, but you know what it would have, like, what would have probably helped with that, Nintendo? To make it easier for people to play the, maybe fucking online? Because it's 2018.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Old men. I am surprised that despite this game being all-around co-op and on the Switch, which one of their biggest IPs is like a multiplayer only, see Splatoon, and ARMS, fucking ARMS, dude. But nope, not this one. Nope, fuck you. Fuck me. I don't get to play with my friends online, I guess.
Well, it's just because they're old men in suits and they're scared of the internet. The internet's scary and weird and I don't like it. Why can't they just play Smash Brothers in their CRT fucking TVs in the living room with goddamn 4-inch long cords to their N64 so they keep pulling it off the goddamn nightstand?
You know what? I'm gonna stop and start pause on Star Allies. Know how much they fuck up with Kirby and online? That Kirby Battle Royale game, that little like side game they made, that one you cannot play online with your friends, but it has an online ranked mode.
What?
That's like the most backwards thing for a Kirby game. They just don't get it, Tad. Hell Labs, they got good stuff in there, but they just don't get online. They just can't figure it out.
Old people never understand the internet. That's why they shouldn't be allowed to make games anymore. Get them out of here. That's what I say.
No more pause. Play. Back to Star Allies. So, you go through the intro of the game, you kick King Dedede's ass and you teach him a lesson. And he also gets ripped as fuck, and you beat him up anyway. And a little fake credit screen goes by, which is really, really adorable. And then it rewinds and it cuts back to you dancing. And the little heart that you knocked out of King Dedede flies away. So the adventure continues. And here's the thing that I really like about this game. So when you knock down, because you fight King Dedede and Meta Knight during the main story, when you knock them down, you can actually throw a heart at them when they're knocked down and recruit them right there.
Nice.
I love that little addition. So turns out the plans, the evil scheme is far bigger than King Dedede. So now the map zooms out. Originally, you're just on like Dreamland. It zooms out to all of Popstar. Then you beat that. It zooms out. You go through like all those levels. Zooms out again. You're like all the way out in outer space.
Oh, cool.
The scale of the game gets bigger and bigger, and I really, really like that. And the last area when you're in outer space is just like Milky Way Wishes, where you can pick whatever level to do in whatever order.
I like it.
So you blow through that. Beat up all these enemies and stuff, make new allies along the way. And one of the features that was nice in this game that a lot of people were excited for is when you hold up, you can combine your powers together to be kind of like combo abilities from 64, but not really. The little curling stone actually comes back from 64, but that's like it. For the most part, it's just like adding an element to a weapon, like adding lightning to a sword, so when you swing your sword, lightning bolts like strike down, and adds elemental damage. Because elemental damage and typing is a thing in this game. So say there's a water enemy. There's like this little guy covered in this ball of water. If you hit him with an ice ability, he'll immediately freeze solid. But if you hit him with lightning, he'll immediately get zapped and explode. But if you try hitting him with water, it'll take 3 or 4 hits to actually kill him. There's weakness types now. Wispy Woods, because he's in every game. If you hit him with enough fire, he'll just straight up get set on fire and his health bar will just start draining. But that's a big thing now. So you're blitzing through, doing all these elements, figuring all these puzzles out, finding all these puzzle pieces, and you fight these the 3 mages. Taking a breath. The 3 mages are basically Susie ripoffs, because Susie from Robobot is incredibly popular. She's just a waifu character. But she's got kind of stuff going on with her. With the mages don't really have anything going on. They're basically just there to just look kind of like Susie and try to cash in on Susie's popularity. So
kind of like how fucking Isabelle is all over the Animal Crossing phone game for no good reason.
Just because she's super turbo popular. But at least, but that's still at least Isabelle. That'd be like if they made Isabeau, who was like a brown-skinned Isabelle.
Isabro.
Yeah, if they just made a new character who looked just like her. Because the mages had the exact same little floating body with the Rayman hands and everything. So you kick all their butts, go through space, kick their butts again, and you get to their main gigantic 3-planet sized space station. So in here, you just start blowing through, just bang bang, beating all the little jam cultists who are these adorable little purple dudes, and you just kick all their asses, and you get up to Highness. Lord Highness, the white-robed guy from the intro cutscene. This guy comes up, fucking smacks the yellow one right the fuck out, and goes up to you and just does this incredibly fast speech bubble thing where he's just typing really, really goddamn fast. Also, his font looks a little different than everyone else's, and I like that little detail. It's slightly bold and kind of tilted just a little bit. It looks off compared to everyone else. But as he talks, he kind of has he's like Xant from Twilight Princess, where he goes here, so he walks up, starts jittering, as all this text just flies by, and he just does this massive lore dump at you because he's just fucking insane. And then you fight him, and you kick his butt in 3 hits. He has no HP. but then his mask falls off, and it's revealed that he's bold and brash. And then the mages show up, he drains their health, and his phase 2 starts. And he goes like fucking bonkers. He's like jiggling all around everywhere. His theme song is super awesome. It's great. I love his fight. So you kick his ass, and it's revealed. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say it's revealed. So after you kick his ass, he throws the 3 mages into the big heart because he wasn't able to finish the ritual. Then he himself jumps in there and kills himself to then fully finish the ritual and revive their evil big dark god, Void Termina. Because Kirby games always got to have some bigger and better final boss at the very end, despite the main villain. Like I kept mentioning earlier, it's a theme now. So Void Termina is this gigantic, super big Kingdom Hearts reject looking ass motherfucker. So you fight in this, because you always have had these shooter segments in every Kirby game too, I should mention, where now you have this full 3D scale fight, where you're on this heart-shaped ship, and you're shooting at his fucking weak points and shit. You knock him down, his mask head thing falls off, go inside, fight his heart. Do it again with a wing phase, go inside, fight his true form, which is this weird liquidy orb that looks kind of like Kirby. Deepest lore, question mark? So you kick that thing's ass, and it transforms into a new form that looks kind of like dark matter. Deepest lore, question mark? So you kick that thing's ass, and the day is fucking saved.
Jesus Christ, how many phases are there to this boss fight?
A lot. His fight's really fucking long. But after you do that, well, technically it's not over when you beat it, because then you do this, like, a big button mash, like, save the world segment, like in Robobot. So you do that, then you save the day for real. And you unlock some new game modes. You unlock the arena, and you also unlock this one mode that, in particular, that I really, really liked. This was kind of leaked a while ago, and it made me really, really excited. Was in Superstar Ultra, you had this game mode called Helper to Hero, where you could do a little boss rush specifically as helpers. So now they expanded upon that with guest star question mark question mark question mark. This is a new Helper to Hero mode where instead of just playing through a boss rush, you actually play through a little mini version of the entire game as the helper. So, now you played Triple Deluxe. You played the King DDD mode, right?
I did not.
Oh, well, you missed out. So in Nightmare to Dreamland, Triple Deluxe, and in Robobot, they all had an extra mode after you beat the game. They kind of do a little shortened speedrun mode. In Revenge and in Robobot, you get to play as Meta Knight. And then Triple Deluxe, you played as DDD. So with this game, you kind of do that thing where the levels are... You don't like do a level select, you just go level to level, blitz on through. There's still puzzle rooms, kind of, but you still just kind of go through them. Instead of collecting like all this random shit, now the rainbow pieces, you collect regular puzzle pieces and power-ups. You'll get damage up, health up, movement speed up to level 5. So you start at 0, and then you can go up to 5 to move faster and do more damage and shit. Because you want to get through as fast as possible. You're being timed through the whole thing. It's a little mini speedrun mode. So, like, you can do this as Blade Knight. You can do this as fucking Vividria. You can do this as Chef Kawasaki, because he's playable now. You can also do this mode as the Dream Allies, who are like King Dedede, Meta Knight, and Bandana D. And then other characters who were added via updates. Like, as of this video, the first update did hit, which had Marks, who's... I absolutely fucking love that he's in this game. He is so fucking great because he has like all of his boss moves from Superstar in there. It's so exciting. Then you have Rick Kine from Dreamland 2, and then you have Gooey from Dreamland 3. So you can play through the whole game. Gooey. So you can play through the entire. Well, you can play through like 80% of the game as these characters. And what I like is with the update that added more Dream Friends, all of the Dream Friends in particular got extra levels in their respective modes. So replaying the game, so like you'd probably be bored playing through like as Blade Knight as Chef Kawasaki, you know, you'd be bored doing that 26 times because it doesn't really change. With the Dream Friends, they added new little levels, so it feels a little more exciting to play. And I absolutely fucking loved it.
Now here's the thing that is really important to think about with Kirby, is if you take a step back and look at Kirby, it's like, and I noticed this when I was playing Robobot and Triple Deluxe. I'm so used to platformers kind of like Donkey Kong, where they hide secrets everywhere. And I noticed that Kirby doesn't do that. If you're going through an area, if there's like a drop-off to the right, there's like 99% of the time, there's not a secret over there.
Yeah.
Kirby seems to be really linear in how it works, but that's okay because the levels... Just as I was playing through the first few levels of Robobot with my nephew, and I'm like going through there, and I'm like, there's not a single part of this where I'm just kind of walking in a straight line. There's like little hops, little hops are just kind of there. There's pipes that you can either go above or go under. There's all sorts of little things to do just as you're normally traversing a level, and then they toss in enemies, and they toss in like the forward and backward, foreground, background gimmick. There's a lot of little things that it has throughout its levels that keep them really interesting. Because remember, like Kirby, in most platformers, what keeps you going is like you have to jump over pits. If you fall into a pit, you die. And Kirby, like, that's not really a thing. You can't have a hardcore platforming challenge because you have infinite jumps. Or you, like, pick up a bomb and then you have to jump over. But, like, those aren't very long. So they have to put all of the... Like what makes Kirby interesting? Like I said before, it's about the options. You can go through the levels in completely different ways. I picked up the firepower and I pressed start. And there's, like, goddamn 8 pages of different moves that you could do with it. Or... you could just hold B and shoot fire in front of you and go through the game just fucking fine.
Exactly. See, you get it.
There's like a million different really complicated things you can do, or you could just play through it like it's fucking Kirby. Who gives a shit? My 4-year-old nephew can play through Kirby just fine.
And like when I was like 6, I could 100% Superstar like 3 times over. Kirby's not about being hard. It's about playing the game in a variety of different ways and giving yourself your own type of challenges if you so chose so. And like you said, you could use the jet power and just do the little kicks and damage enemies just fine. Or you could actually try and do fancy shit. You can like run up and do the riskier attack where you grab them and fucking like boot them off your jet. You can do other things. The game gives you fuckloads of options, which makes it so enjoyable.
Especially like the circus ability. That one was my favorite because you could do flips and jump through fire hoops and juggle and do all sorts of crazy dumb shit. There's just there's a lot of cool stuff you do. I like Kirby. I don't like it as much as you. And like I said, the only Kirby game that I don't like is that Game Boy one. But that's just because it was based around something that I was not able to do, and as such, I had to play through a shitty gimped version of the game.
So that's basically it for what I have of the Kirby episode. I really just wanted to get into, like, not necessarily the games, but I really wanted to cover the options thing, because a lot of things that people don't necessarily appreciate, they're playing the game and their brain notices that, like, oh yeah, I'm having fun because I have all these options, but you never really think about the specifics of why you're having fun, you know what I mean? You're basically just saying, like, yeah, I'm having fun, or yeah, I'm not. So I really wanted to cover that. I really kind of wanted to cover just a couple of the Kirby games that I really, really enjoyed, and, go over briefly why I liked each one. So, I mentioned my favorite was Superstar. Before we end this, what is your favorite, if you were to choose one, Tad?
My favorite Kirby game would be Kirby Superstar Saga.
Ooh. So, let's do the plugs here, Tad.
That's right, I almost ended it without doing the plugs. How unprofessional of me.
See, look, that's why I got your back.
So, you can find the podcast on YouTube, iTunes, Google Play, on Twitter, at LetMeTellYouPD. We've got an email at letmetellyyouabout@gmail.com. That's let me tell you about with 3 T's. There's a Discord in the description, as well as a Patreon. And I will link the Cartoon Network comic that I think about at least 3 times a day. And remember, Aleks, gooey.
Girby. Girby. Girby.